makes $28,000. You get your campaign paid for you if you raise $5,000 of money independently from private donations, and then you get, it's going to be $28,000. He could spend $11,000 in the primary, and then the rest, he doesn't have an opponent. So the Democrats aren't running anyone against him, and I have a problem with that because the voters should have a choice. I'm more conservative than Mr. Case when it comes to being pro-life, when it comes to being against the legalization of pot, and also when it comes to the Second Amendment. I happen to be an NRA member, and I'm proud to say that I support the Second Amendment, and that right shall not be infringed, as it says with the Constitution. I run against Mr. Case because, like I said, voters should have a choice. This year, I believe there should be new blood in Hartford. I believe that the establishment politicians in Hartford need a shakeup. Jay Case, I believe, is part of the problem, taking taxpayers' money to fund his repeated campaigns. Also, I pledge to work to end sanctuary cities here in Connecticut, and push for a Connecticut case law that would be protecting American citizens from illegal aliens who commit crimes. Serving 21 and a half years in law enforcement, I've seen my share of illegal aliens that get arrested, put in jail, and then thrown back out, and we're not deported, and then we're put back on the streets of Connecticut. I will oppose that, as well as the heroin epidemic here in this community. We don't need legalization of marijuana, whether it be palliative or for recreational use. What we need is common sense, and we need the law to be enforced, and we need people to be sober. Sobriety is a paramount for our state and our nation in order to compete with countries like China, countries that are moving forward with their economies, and Americans are being left behind. Connecticut can't continue down the road of more and more taxes, more and more debt, and politicians who say, we'll just raise taxes. And when it comes to the politicians saying we're going to cut services, well, I say what we need to do is start from the governor's office all the way down into the legislature and every commissioner's office and every office to take a 10% cut. Maybe then the politicians would realize that, the people at the bottom ends, whether it be people who work in the judicial department or at DMV or with children's services for youth, shouldn't be the ones getting cut. It should be starting at the governor's office. If he was truly a governor of the people, he would make cuts in his own office first at 10%, and every commissioner take a cut. That isn't happening. People are getting raises while people's campaigns are being paid for with state tax dollars. Now, the majority of the people out on the street, when I went and I got over 200 signatures to run this campaign, I only needed 169, and the state, I gave you guys a letter from the state saying that they certified that I'm able to run, but my wife had to certify that first. She was the first one to sign, even though she's not a Republican. But the thing is that, people are oblivious to the fact that political campaigns are being paid for by the state of Connecticut taxpayers. And that's something that not only term limits that I'm going to support, including on myself, but push to try to get this campaign financing overturned in the legislature, and basically, shame the legislators into being accountable to the taxpayers. If you want to run for public office, you should do it door to door, do it face to face, meeting the people, like originally Jay Case did when he ran in 2012. Now, it's a different story. He gets the campaign
financing, and he doesn't need to go out to the people. The Democrats don't even seem to have a candidate they want to put up against him because they think he's unbeatable. Well, these politicians don't own the seat, the people own the seat. So as I go out to the voters in all the municipalities, they're the ones saying to me they want to change, and they're going to make that change, I hope, come August 9th.
Do you think Jay Case is doing a bad job?
On the issues that I outlined in regards to, number one, being on the political welfare of, yes, I don't think he's true to his core. He says he's a conservative, but you don't take taxpayers' money to run a political campaign, even though it's legal. And I'm not saying he's doing anything wrong legally. I'm saying on principles. I'm going to stand on the principles that I'm going to fund my own campaign with my money, no one else's. I'm not asking you for money or anyone here or anybody in the community. And I'm going to go out and talk to the people and tell them these are the issues that we face. I've supported Mr. Case in the past. I'm not now. And the reason is because I had asked him to come on to my show, Truth Seeker, and he said he would. And then he backed out and said he's not going to. So I said, okay, why? I don't have to. That's the response that I got from the secretary. He doesn't have to, and he's busy. Okay, so he's busy. Then I looked into it, and I talked to some people who used to work for him, and they told me why he's so busy. Because no one's running against him, and he doesn't have to do anything. So that's the response that I got from people like Ray Rubago, who was a former Board of Education member, who used to work for Jay. He told me that. And now Ray Rubago is supporting me. So that's where we're at. When it comes to issues of pro-life, I'm there supporting life. When it comes to traditional marriage, I'm there supporting traditional marriage. When it comes to the Second Amendment, I'm going to be there. When it comes to fighting to end drug addiction, I'm there. I've been there. I've been in the battle. Unlike Jay, I've been in the battle on the forefront, helping people in drug and alcohol addiction. 5 years of Western Substance Abuse Treatment.
So what are the other issues they're facing this
Well,
area that you'd like to tackle?
when it comes to the state and our finances, like I said, my pledge is to not vote for any increase in taxes and to start making cuts appropriately from the governor's office all the way down. And I'm calling for that, and I would introduce legislation, obviously with people who would be like-minded, to do that. And there's a lot of money. People say, oh, well, that's just a drop in the bucket. Well, every penny counts. And, that's why we're losing businesses and we're losing, people in this state, because the government has increased so much, and the politicians, like I said, they got these cozy deals going on. No politician should be able to leave the legislature and then piggyback their pension as a deputy commissioner or as a commissioner and up it for the last 3 years that they're in as a commissioner or a deputy commissioner. That's what's going on. And the pension system is just an atrocity. And it's clearly noted with all the reports that have been with the state of Connecticut being ranked number 50 in finances and debt and spending. Puerto Rico's next, so it's pretty sad.
You've long been associated with the Winchester Independent Party. Why did you decide not to run as an independent party member?
Because I joined the Republican Party to support Mr. Trump in the primary. And the Republican Party needs a shakeup. I'm more fiscally conservative and more socially conservative than Mr. Case. And I've talked to gun owners within the district who the Second Amendment is in their minds, and they haven't seen Mr. Case on that issue. So as far as go ahead.
Well, the Independent Party.
Oh, the Independent Party. I still, support the Independent Party, but the Republican Party right now needs a shakeup, and I registered as a Republican to offer, go back to basics. God, country, and family. And that's what this country needs, that's what this state needs, and that's what municipalities need right now, and that's my belief. And the Republican Party used to stand for that. So, you know, we've seen the Democratic Party a couple of years ago want to try to not even mention God in their platform, let alone recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. So I have a different view, and I more align myself with the Republicans anyways. I've supported Republicans more than I have supported Democrats, even though sometimes I had supported some Democrats.
Right.
But, you know, it's an uphill battle. It's not going to be easy because he's entrenched. And there's just people that need to be educated as to why. I'll be a voice, and I will be, as Mike Bogoslawski used to say, I will be in your corner, that is the people in the district. And I'll be there when I have to be, obviously, for my family first, but for the district, I will represent. And I will represent for the rest of my day. I haven't abandoned the independents, but whoever wins this primary is basically not going to face a Democrat. So, you know, I don't think an independent would have a chance to win against Mr. Case because of Mr. Trump's coattails, especially in light of the primary results that took place. You know, we saw the results where Hillary Clinton and Trump, Bernie were high vote getters. So I think it would be pretty quixotic to run as an independent. Most people who vote, and it's been proven, the ones who come out are the diehards, whether it be diehard Democrats or diehard Republicans. Most unaffiliates who consider themselves independents, I mean, the last statistics show they don't come out. Jerry used to be the Republican chairman of the Winchester Town Committee, and I'm proud to have his support. Thank you, Jerry.
Glad to have you. I'm going to give it to you.
Okay. That's my last question.
Also, you know, I don't support Common Core, and I think the state ought to look into not supporting Common Core. Education should be on a local level, state level, not on a federal level. The more the federal government gets involved in our locales, the more we are beholden to the federal government, and the more that education is being taken out of local control. So I don't support the federal mandate of Common Core. This state has involved that.
Okay.
And let me tell you, in the district, when I went to get signatures, people have asked me that. They point blank me. They have a lot of kids like we do, and they're really upset in this town about Common Core because they don't like a lot of the things in it that are being taught.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks for showing.